Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for AAA Gaming Imploding in Real Time, Part 95.
Yeah. I don't know how many parts it's been, but yes.
So we got a couple of stories here. I'm going to smush it together into one episode. We're going to talk about Ubisoft. They're not in very good shape right now, and they're skirting questions about whether or not they're going to sell the company or merge or whatever.
To Tencent?
To Tencent,
so
yeah.
China.
Yeah.
There's a theme today.
There is a theme today. The thing is that we were talking right before we recorded about the success of Marvel Rivals, and I don't know if selling Ubisoft to China is a bad thing, because I think at least the franchises, at least they'll keep everything intact, right? The characters don't look like themselves, and you're not going to have to worry about...
You're going to get adventures and not side stories that you don't want to hear about.
Right. So we're going to talk about the latest woes of Ubisoft and also Microsoft, all the softs. AAA gaming is going soft. The Information had this article up. They said their gaming business is falling short despite Activision. They spent $70 billion to buy Activision, and it ain't doing shit for them. So that's interesting too. And I don't know what's going to happen with Microsoft Gaming. They were even talking about how they might keep it around, but it's never going to be profitable, and it might just be that AI or something else or search or advertising makes up the difference for the lack of revenue coming from gaming. So that's not good. Microsoft can't make gaming profitable. No. We got problems, right? But I don't know. So we're going to talk about this. Before you do any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
All right, let's go into Ubisoft first. The CFO and the CEO are skirting questions on a potential sale to Tencent. They're very guarded. Everybody knows. They're going to have to sell this company. They're all betting on Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're going to talk about that. They're not going to sell shit. It's not going to do good. They said Ubisoft executive leadership, this comes from CFO Dive, executive leadership declined to comment directly on a rumored potential buyout of the video game platform by Tencent in a Thursday conference call, which largely failed to impress investors looking for clarity regarding the company's future direction.
So they didn't say it wasn't happening. They just wouldn't give information?
Yeah, they're not giving information.
Okay, see?
So my understanding of that situation is the French family that has a lot of the control. They don't want to be pushed out of it. They still want to have control of it, and China's gonna be like, yeah, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. The call came after the Assassin's Creed creator also announced on Thursday it had appointed leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. How do we unload this thing?
Yeah, basically.
As quickly and quietly as possible. And this is the same company that, they're not doing very well. They had a lot of huge misfires. Star Wars Outlaws was a massive misfire for them. They pushed Assassin's Creed Shadows back, and then their employees decided to go on strike. I'm like,
yeah, I know. It's
the hell?
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
So it said Morgan Stanley representative noted that language in the update was vague.
Right.
And they wanted more details, and
they were going to
didn't give any. So,
Yeah, but it's Guillermo. Guillermo, is that the name? I think that's how you pronounce it. Is that correct? Ubisoft CEO and co-founder, along with the CFO, Frederick. These are French names. Dugois.
Yeah, I don't know.
Were guarded in their... I need to get some more phlegm in there. Dugois. Were guarded in their answers on the call. We are currently actively exploring different options, and we can't say any more. Of course, we won't comment on specific rumors that we've seen in the market, but we are convinced there are several potential paths to generate value from Ubisoft assets and franchises. We will inform the market if and when a transaction materializes. They're not saying no.
No, they're deliberately not saying no. But like you said, the family wants to keep control. And here's the thing. I saw this once before. I'm not going to go into detail, but there was a building, and somebody bought it. And it was a historical building, and it was, it was just a hotel, and they ran it into the ground. And basically a bunch of stuff broke, and it needed fixed, and it needed a lot of money put into it. And they did a really crappy job with it. But whenever it tried to be sold, the person wouldn't sell it unless they would agree to let them stay in charge. It's like, who the hell would let you stay in charge when you've run it into the ground?
Yes.
Eventually, the bank, I think, ended up taking it, and it was a whole situation. But I was like, this person was not going to sell unless he was allowed to remain in charge. And that's what it reminds me of. But it's like, but if you did such a great job, you're not in the position... You wouldn't be in this position to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, why would we let you stay in charge?
They could go all Norman Osborn.
No one's going to buy something and say, I paid for what?
It's my company. Remember Norman Osborn Spider-Man movie?
No one's going to let you buy something and then say, but by the way, you keep running it.
Yeah. I mean, that is the definition of insanity, right? Just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
And yeah. So we're gonna look at this too. This is Assassin's Creed Shadow. Shadow's latest delay dodges a bullet, but 2 more problems could be on the way. Screen rant. So they moved Assassin's Creed Shadows back from November to February, facing backlash.
Yes.
And then they moved it from, just announced last week, moved it from February to March. And now they're saying, yeah, well, one, that's not enough time to make all the changes to this game that probably need to be made to make it salvageable and sellable. But also the rumor is the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out in March. And nobody's going to pay attention to this shit when the Switch 2 comes out.
So you think it's kind of like a Disney move where they put their shitty things next to a really good performing something so that you can overshadow it with one of the good ones and then claim, oh, that cannibalized the other one and it wasn't because we failed.
Right.
Everybody's going to buy that. So that's why we didn't do well.
They're trying to say, well, the reason that they moved is, February has a lot of major games set for release. They have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Then why did you pick February?
We know why.
I know, but saying, but you knew that. If you knew there was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and then Civilization 7 and Avowed and Pirate,
Monster Hunter,
Yakuza, Hawaii,
Wait,
Monster Hunter Wilds, etc.
This is a real game.
If you knew that was going to happen, and these games have been scheduled for a while now, why the flip did you pick February in the first place?
I think they were just, and I said this before, and they announced that they were moving it.
Oh, I exactly think that you're right about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the obvious reason, but also, I don't think they ever intended to release it in February. I think they're kicking the can down the road until they figure out what the hell's going on with the sale. I think it was just a placeholder, because if they told people, you tell people 3 or 4 months, they can wrap their head around that. You tell people it's going to be a year. Or 2 years.
Indefinitely, we don't know.
Or indefinitely, because we don't know. And now what'll happen is they're gonna. This is just a theory on my part. I do not have any concrete proof. I feel like I got to go out. If I had to speculate, we're gonna keep kicking the can down the road until guys, we've been acquired by Tencent, so now we're going to table Assassin's Creed Shadows indefinitely until we get a better view of our gaming landscape until the dust settles or whatever, and then either they release it very differently or they just table it and just whatever. I mean, I think it's going to come out eventually, but I think they're delaying it because right now if they're trying to negotiate and the game comes out and it fails miserably,
that's true.
And it fails,
that's going to tank their price.
When Star Wars Outlaws failed, their stock price went down. And if this one comes out and this is the only thing they got left, so this is their last card, right, that they can play. So they're going to delay it until they get the terms of the sale. I believe until they get the sale finalized, and then they feel like they can release it, or they can just use the sale as an excuse to table it. But yeah, you bring it out now and it fails, your stock price goes down. They're going to look at that family and they're going to be like, get the hell out of here. We're buying this company on the cheap. Get the hell out of here. But they said, yeah, there's going to be other games, but the Switch 2. So the Nintendo Switch 2, the rumor is they're going to make an announcement this week that the Switch 2 is coming in March. Like, I mean, we're talking, this is like Apple, where they're like, oh, hey, our new iPad's coming out like next week. Switch 2 has been in development for a very long time. From what I'm hearing, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just a better Switch that's backwards compatible, like a Switch Pro or something. But a lot of people are looking forward to it, and they're probably going to have a bunch of games at launch for it.
No, I'm not hearing a whole lot, but yeah.
A bunch of game at launch.
Yeah. They're thinking next month, or not next month. It's supposed to be announced this month, I think, and then next month, or no, I keep thinking it's February. March,
yeah.
Hi, me.
So,
okay, March, it'll come out.
So let me...
I can read.
You need to go to Derek Zoolander school.
The school for ants.
So if you're a gamer and you got some money and you've been saving up for a Switch 2, are you going to buy a Switch 2 and, like, I guess Mario Kart 9 they're thinking is going to come out with it, which, I mean, Mario Kart 8, they've gotten so much mileage, no pun intended, off of that game for years.
Well, there's supposed to be a Mario Kart 9.
Yes, that's supposed to be a launch title. So are you gonna wait for that? Or are you gonna, like, blow your money on Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Some people would, but
some people are.
They basically say it. If Nintendo follows a similar timeline, go back up. They're basically saying what you said. If Nintendo follows a similar timeline for the Switch 2, Assassin's Creed Shadow could face another wave of competition for attention. So they're worried that, I think a couple of reasons, like you said. I think they're worried Nintendo's going to take their thunder because everybody's going to spend their money on Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And they're also worried that if it does do poorly, which it's gonna, that it's going to tank their stock, is going to tank their chances of more money if they do sell. And they're deliberately being vague with the investors.
Yes, they're definitely being vague because I don't think they know what the hell's going to happen. They said, yeah, Ubisoft likely has some idea when the Switch 2 is due for release. In other words, its release of Assassin's Creed Shadows in March might signal that Nintendo won't release. No, I don't think I think they're just kicking the can down the road as far as they can. I mean, it's my personal opinion. And I told people when they moved it to February, I'm like, that's not enough time to.
No, and it probably won't be enough time in March either. Yeah. Or what they're hoping for is the sale is going to go through by March.
That's what I think they're hoping for.
Yeah,
and Ghost of Yotai is coming out too. So that's going to eat into it. And it's not going to come out in March. That's probably at least I would say 6 months to a year off. But yeah, I think, if you were smart, you would have released it for Switch 2, made a launch title, because people will buy the shittiest games at launch just because there aren't any other games.
Could have saved your butt. Yeah, because there really, I don't think going to be a lot.
I mean, I'm thinking back to, like, all the consoles I bought at launch, and I don't do that. I don't usually buy consoles at launch. You bought the PS5.
Yes, and that's the reason why, Squid King had one for the first year or two when no one else could get them.
And how long did it take for good games to come out?
Yeah, well.
Like, we finally got Astrobot, right? But it was like when I was a kid, I'd go buy these consoles like as soon as they came out, thinking, oh, that's gonna be great. And then it's like, oh yeah, this one's got like 4 games and like only 2 of them are good. Like the Sega Genesis, I remember I was so disappointed. I bought it for Golden Axe, and Golden Axe wasn't even a launch title, but it only had like 12 or 15 games for the first year it was out.
Yeah, my brother had it too.
I was like, that sucks. Anyway, it's not just Ubisoft, Microsoft too. This is coming from the information. Their gaming business is falling short despite Activision. So yeah, it's not looking too good. They said that back in the day, it was 2021. The CEO of Microsoft, I thought they said Microsoft. Microsoft.
You can't read too good either.
I can't. We all need to go to Derek Zoolander school and get re-educated. But yeah, they had to face a choice involving the company's Xbox and cloud gaming or buying another company. And I guess they went and they bought Blizzard. So they're giving you the backstory here. But they said, it's not going well. Gaming was the only section of his pay evaluation that fell short of Microsoft goals this year. Meanwhile, in 3 months ending September 30th, Microsoft indicated that his gaming division didn't grow at all without the first-time contribution of Activision. Wow. Without the first-time contribution of Activision revenue. For many investors, Microsoft's performance in gaming ranks is likely less important than its progress in artificial intelligence. Questions about whether the company's big investment in new data centers will generate a return have weighed on investors' mind. So they're not even interested in gaming now. So everybody's chasing gaming, thinking it was this cash cow, and now they're like, yeah, that was very 2020. Like, we're not really. Now we're all about AI. They said,
that is what's going on.
Yeah. Stock only rose 12% last year. Maybe it's because your operating system is ass. That could be part of it. Microsoft, God, I think a lot of people are jumping ship. They're not going to use Windows 11 because all the AI shit that they're putting into it and the spyware. Given the sheer amount Microsoft has spent on gaming expansion, the Activision purchase was its biggest ever. The outcome of the gaming bet is important in the long run. $70 billion. It's a lot of cash. Kind of like Iger with Fox, where he spent like $73 billion or something?
Yeah, 73.
They're going to lose money in the short term.
Or something. I forget what it was. 73.1.
It was insane. It was insane. And you're not going to get that money back by making shitty Home Alone sequels, right? They might lose money in the short term, which is fine, as long as they can prove that in the long run, Game Pass is a solid source of recurring revenue. So Game Pass is where they're going to go. And I talked about this before. I think what's going to happen with a lot of these companies is they're just going to try to compete with Steam and just be like, yeah, you don't own your games. You have to subscribe to your games. You're going to have to pay us a subscription every month to have access to our games.
Yeah, that goes over so well.
But do people really care enough about I mean, they have Call of Duty, but somebody could very easily come along and create a viable competitor to Call of Duty and just be like, yeah, you don't need to subscribe. Yeah, $60 to $70 a piece. They're talking about pushing the new business model, which is all Game Pass. You're not going to own shit, basically. I don't think that, I mean, this is just like, this is desperation to me. And basically what it tells me is they know not enough people long term are going to keep buying shitty $70 games forever. And they're dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into these games. So yeah, they're just going to pivot to subscription.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It's gonna be like,
I don't know how it's going to fly, but you know.
Yeah, they said shareholders say Activision's contributions will matter as long as Microsoft generates growth in other areas like cloud and artificial intelligence. Activision has been disappointing, says this investor's portfolio manager who oversees two funds that include a total of more than $800 million. Microsoft, it's also a business that had some degree of consistency over like 3 to 5 year period, but was highly volatile from year to year because you're so dependent on Call of Duty. Well, all you got to do is come up with a viable competitor, right? I don't know, guys. I think this is it. This is like end stage AAA gaming. I mean, everything's just imploding, right? So we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
You seem like you're really checked out.
I am.
Okay, she is. So we're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.